Hey, what a spectacular day. Shot with the Intergalactix again downtown, did a little guerrilla style video shoot in Pershing Square. Got busted up by the cops, but they were very, very nice and just asked us to pack up and leave, which is cool because I was kind of worried about getting a ticket or anything worse. This coming week, finishing up some work for Rick and so shoot, so basically it. So it's kind of taking off again, which is good. Had a pretty slow January, and for the most part, February has been pretty darn slow. But March is looking pretty kick ass. And looks like my friend Aaron is coming out end of the month. We got the dates sorted out. Gonna book the flights tomorrow, and yeah, have some more fun and take some more video shoots and all that fun jazz. What else? I got another question on one of Rick's rigs, so I thought I'd answer it really quick. Okay, we have a question from BWN5150 and asks, "Hey Jeff, are you able to give any insight on what the process is like for Rick or yourself when creating new preset samples for the kit? Like, does Rick experiment a lot with sounds when the band writes and records? Does he like to sample acoustic snares? And does he ever reuse samples from the old master tapes, etc.? The latest album features more diverse styles as well as the traditional sounding production. So I'm wondering how they were. Sorry, the screen turned down a little bit. So I'm wondering how they may have been reflected in the creative side of Rick's setup. Well, first off, good question. As far as the sound stuff for Rick and the kit design, basically the sounds are designed by Rick and our front of house guy, who's also the record album producer, Ronan McHugh. Ro's been working with the band since Euphoria, I believe. I think he started engineering the record, and he's produced like the last three records, I believe. Fantastic engineer, fantastic producer. Seriously, amazing ears. So when we're working on new kits, basically, if they're working on some new songs, he'll bring in a lot of the sounds directly from the studio. If it's something where there's we have what's called a bass kit, and it's essentially the normal like Leopard kit, just a 4-piece drum kit, nothing weird about it. A lot of times we'll start there, and then if we have certain sound effects, or like loops need to go on, we'll layer on top. Some songs are very, very specific. The new record's got some songs which are, as the person said, they're different sounds, a typical Leopard sound. So those ones will have specific kick drums, specific snare drums, specific toms that are from the albums. We'll bring those ones in. As far as reusing the old sounds, a lot of the sounds are from the original master tapes. The basics of the bass kit, as in the kick, snare, rack, and floor, are stuff that have been generated by Rick and Ronan, and they are not from any kind of masters. They're basically what Ro needs to be able to do a mix out front of house. On top of that, though, if we have any specific loops and stuff, we'll grab those from the records. Like certain sound like the cowbell that we use in the show is actually the cowbell sample from Foolin' off Pyromania. Some loop bits will be like the loop bits in Rocket are actually from the actual recording. But with the generating new sounds, sometimes it's a matter of pulling it in the sample libraries and finding certain parts that are complementary. Sometimes it's a matter of sitting in the studio and actually tracking like snare drums and kick drums and toms and stuff. They are pretty much everything we have, though, is several samples deep. Like when you hear like a kick out front of house, there's like 5 or 6 different kicks layered together to get like the Leopard sound. And for the live use and for the studio usage, it's not just like going to sample library and go, oh, I want to use this kick. Like no. There's a lot more involved. Yeah, that's how it works with getting the sounds and stuff. The last time we really did a bunch of new kits was in December. The record had been out, and they want to add a bunch of new songs to the set. So literally, I got a USB stick with a bunch of samples and dumped them all in, mapped them all out, and then had Rick came in, and got the sound levels with the front house guy and a monitor guy, and then Rick came in and went, okay, cool, we're good to go. So it's not super complicated to build build new patches, but it does take some thought and it's more it's more of just seeing how things fit in the live environment, since there is a really identifiable like drum sound in the show, that you don't want to go throw something in the shit so that throw something that doesn't fit in within the context of the gig. It's one thing to have a radically different drum sound on an album, but when you go into an arena and you go, oh, we have this giant drums, and then you throw in a set of sounds that maybe are smaller and more muted, but still the guitars are huge or the bass is huge, kind of doesn't quite work. Um, anyway, so that's once again that's a my very very long answer to a very short question. I will try to do if you guys have any more questions, please fire off. I'm trying to pay attention to these things and catch them when I can, so I don't get too far behind you, leave anybody hanging. I do love talking about the gear, and I have no problem provide all the info that I can with you guys. Obviously, I really do like kind of talking about this stuff. When I kind of came to this gig, there wasn't a lot of resource information for what I do. The techs out there that kind of specialize in electronics are few and far in between, so a lot of the stuff I had to figure out on my own. Even just doing Google searches, there's not that much information, so I love being able to kind of pass this stuff off to somebody else. I'm not really worried about losing my gig per se, but if for some reason I do have to go, I want to make sure whoever takes over after me knows what they're doing and Rick's happy. Combined with the fact that I just like seeing this kind of stuff get out in the world. All right, so that's it. I'm going to throw a little bit of stuff up from today. Some of the stills and stuff. I might throw a little bit of video clip from the shoot today. Kind of want to save most of it for the music video for these guys, but we had so much fun. It was really cool. I think I should see a little bit of it. So take a look.